check of the tape board. 290 Ebdon comes out of gate number 2. They score up well for a start. They're behind the Cole Fletcher Ford Mobile. Set. Ready to go. All set. The green light signifies a start as it moves away and allows the front line to come out cleanly, and Kapow Shannon the best one away. From the outside, the one going forward is Flight Express, last week's young winner, also putting pressure on the leader, and Ebdon third behind them. Getting up on the inside, Flight Express and Ponover the outside behind them. As they go into this bottom turn is Little Lucy, 3 back on the inside. The outer then Fantasy Level, Half Crown Gap, and last of all is Boys in Blue as they come into the straight. The first occasion they travel up to the judge with 2 to travel on the outside. Ebdon's the leader on the outside, but running a little bit roughly around on the track on the inner is Kapow Shannon, and Todd Press takes a look to see what's happening. You can see Ebdon on the outside, the big striding fellow. As we said, he's racing fairly loosely in his gear, but second, third on the inside is the Matrix, who's travelling well as for Mitch Hutchings. And as they go down the side, in behind them, 1 out, 1 back at the moment is Flight Express and Jake Davis, Ponover. And Madison Reynolds has a good hold on that runner as they go down the side, and still Little Lucy and Jake Betts is with them as they travel down the back on this occasion. They've run a 33.7 and a 33.7 quarter as they go to this bottom circle once again, and they'll hear the bell on the occasion that they reach the judge on this time around. And the leader is Kapow Shannon on the inside for the Riverina driver trainer Todd Prest, who's been there from the outset. He knows how to lead, he knows how to rate them, and he's doing it nicely at the moment. Ebdon on the outside, as we said. He races just a little bit loose in his gear. He's got his head right up, but he's covering the territory, and that's all that matters. Third placing on the inside, then the Matrix, the bell sounding. Flight Express is trailing Ebdon up as they come to the judge. 1 lap to travel, 32.2 that quarter. Back behind them then as they leave the straight, the inside is Flight Express, and further back still is Little Lucy on the inside of those runners. Ponover on the outside then. Boys in Blue being covered by Fantasy Level, and Half Crown Gap is at the tail of the field. They've passed the 600. They race down the back for the final occasion, and Kapow Shannon, who's been there from the outset, I tell you what, that will be the one to run down. On the outside, Flight Express is going up to join it at the 400. They've run a quarter in 30.2, so he's left just a little bit in the tank. Ebdon on the outside, and further out then is Flight Express as they come around the corner. Ponover on the inside of Little Lucy. Half Crown Gap coming into it, and further out then is Boys in Blue, Fantasy Level, but Kapow Shannon on the inside, and still the Matrix is trying to gather ground on it. It's Kapow Shannon driven out, but the Matrix on the inside got it. Kapow Shannon second, third then would have been Little Lucy, and they were followed in by Ebdon, and further back Ponover. Boys in Blue, Fantasy Level, and Half Crown Gap was amongst the tail. Another close finish at Parkes here this afternoon.